Topic for tonight, and you said that, bro. Because I just finished watching. I watched both of them today. I watched All Eyes on Me, and I watched Notorious. Right?
All Eyes on Me, the movie,
Yeah, and I hate that movie.
the biopic,
No, the actual movie, the movie. Like
Okay,
well, I get that's what you mean by the biopic, though, right? But yeah,
like a
I watched both
biography.
of them, and the way the main thing that I wanted to say when I thought about doing this, right? If you've never, if you didn't come up in that era, please don't judge Tupac by that movie. Please don't look at that movie and feel like they left so much out of that movie on purpose. They
They
made the
left stuff
actor.
out, and they put stuff in that wasn't really accurate according to the people that actually knew him.
Thank you, bro. I started off the show saying that back in the day, if you didn't grow up in that, you could Google it all you want. You could listen to the music and all that all you want, but if you didn't grow up in it, you really don't know how it was growing up with Tupac being alive. So I see people talk about it all the time. They say, "Well, what was so good about Tupac?"
Bruh, how the hell was Tupac so damn big? Like, I ain't gonna lie. I see why older folks say he the GOAT, because you gotta think about it. Bro was only like popping for like 5 years. And I think he was like in prison or some shit for like a year. So like 4 or 5 years. He died at 25. I'll turn 24 next week. So it's like all the shit that they talk about, Tupac the GOAT, you feel me, rap, movies, this nigga was in hella movies, Tupac shirts and shit. It's like, that was a 4 or 5 year run. I respect it.
It wasn't his. It was when it comes to Tupac. It wasn't about his raps. We loved his songs. Yeah, of course, his songs made us listen to him. What's up, Becom Candles? See you in the building. Much love. But it was more about his aura and what he was trying to do for the people. He was like a Malcolm X, a Martin Luther King type of person, but he was rapping. So that whole movie showed none of that. The movie only focused on the troubles he kept getting into. That's what they did. They showed none of his interviews. They didn't show until the end of the movie, but they didn't show his interviews. They didn't show the things he really stood for. You feel what I'm saying? They only showed the things that they had to show. You had to show certain things because people would say, why you didn't show this and why you didn't show that? So, but when I watched Biggie's movie, they went in depth on Biggie. They threw so much stuff in it that was not Biggie. Biggie did not sell drugs like that. They make like he was some type of big time drug dealer and then he started rapping. No, 50 did that. Like I said, I just watched both of these movies today and I've been was saying I was going to talk about it. It's just the fact that the way that they portrayed Tupac in this movie was so corny and they made it look like he wasn't like that. They made it, first of all, how you just keep skipping to the next parts. You don't show nothing in his life. Even when he was a kid, y'all didn't go into depth of him growing up in the hood or nothing. You just went straight to him going to acting class. You know what I'm saying? They say, oh, he started acting like that when he played Bishop. No, he didn't. First of all, you got to understand that this was a kid growing into himself. So we watched Tupac grow from a teenager into himself. He grew into what he was supposed to be. So for people to say, oh, he wasn't like that, and they say, it was many faces of Tupac. He wasn't always, I'm not always like I am right now. I'm cool all the time. I'm chill all the time. But if you come at me, I'm on my thug shit. You feel what I'm saying? So for people to say that, it's like they didn't show him spitting at the cameras. They didn't show him standing on podiums talking shit. They didn't show him giving people money. They didn't show him like the way Tupac was as a person.
Like hanging out in the club with the regular people.
Bro, I know three outlaws personally. People type shit. Napoleon is another one. He's from all the way from Chancellor Avenue where I used to hustle at. I knew him before he was a rapper. All these people before, and Tupac came to these hoods and signed these people. You feel what I'm saying? Jersey people. So
yeah, he was really tight with Tretch.
Bro, I met Tretch many a time. Tretch came to my school one time beefing with niggas with a fucking lock chain, fighting niggas with a lock chain. This is hip hop stuff. And this is the thing, people, like I told you before, bro, people look at me like I'm Fat Joe or somebody because I have so many stories that I could be telling right now. You feel me? But this is one of the stories of, I thought I was going to eventually become an outlaw. Because like I said, the block that I hustled on was Chancellor Avenue. Napoleon is from Chancellor Avenue, Mutai. We all knew him as Mutai. He changed his name to Napoleon when he got signed. And I remember that I was locked up at one point in time, right? When I came home from jail, I remember people saying, hey, guess what? Tupac came out here. Tupac ain't come out here. You crazy. Tupac was out here, yo. He took Mutai with him. What you mean he took Mutai? He about to sign him. Stop playing. Next thing you know, he's an outlaw. Same thing with Fatal, same thing with Young Noble. They signed these artists. So the point I'm making
How
is,
it goes a lot of times, bro.
huh?
I said that's exactly how it goes a lot of times, man. It just be like just out of nowhere, just at the snap of a finger.
Yeah.
It can go.
It's just like when Rick Ross came to Philly and signed Meek Mill. I remember I was selling bootleg DVDs and CDs. I had all the Flamer CDs. And I remember when they said, yeah, Rick Ross is out here right now. Rick Ross out in Philly? Yeah. He's signing people. He signed Meek Mill. So stuff like that, I remember that. And this is what I'm saying. He had so much, Tupac had so much other stuff that they could have threw in that movie that they chose not to throw in the movie. They made sure they did not throw it in the movie because they wanted to make that movie, they wanted to make it look like he wasn't the leader type. You feel what I'm saying? He wasn't a revolutionary. He wasn't the leader type. He just talked a lot of stuff and got into trouble. That's not what it was. So if you watch All Eyes on Me, please do not use that as that's Tupac. That was not it.
Barometer of who
Yeah,
Tupac
they did
was.
that for money.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this part because I do think what makes his career as well as his persona kind of like bigger than hip hop in a way is the fact that you can study him like a sociologist. What I mean by that is the different facets of life, and you're touching on it like very eloquently. I'm looking at it from the standpoint that he literally lived the very best and the very worst aspects of the black experience in America.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. Why didn't they get to all of that type of stuff? Like you had a 2-hour movie and all you did was jump from one. You know what I'm saying? These is all things that was in the news. These is all things we knew. What about the stuff we didn't know? You tell them there was nothing we didn't know about Tupac?
They tried to hint that like he and Jada had like a romance, and if you let her tell it, she didn't have that. I think they might have had a little something. I think she might have had a crush on him.
But it wasn't
least.
like that. You never.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
When he was alive, you didn't see him with Jada at all. The pictures came up after he passed.
Well, they were on whatchamacallit together though, because he had done some appearances on Different World when she was like an upstart actor.
Yeah,
on that,
I remember them
Different
episodes.
Show that Bill Cosby produced.
It was all about money though. It wasn't like they were the best of friends, and it's just so many things. Watching this movie just made me mad because when you watch the Biggie movie, they made it look like he was just this big time gangster that started rapping, which is also not true. Growing up watching them interview and watching them do shows and stuff, they said certain things, and Biggie said, well, he was just a small time. He said stuff like that out of his mouth in interviews. You feel what I'm saying? But you make him like he got people on the block selling for him. By the time, bro, Biggie was only 24 when he passed.
Yeah, so how about that? So it was only but so much that he would have been able to like really regulate enough as a corner boy.
He didn't. He was a corner boy.
I'm gonna say this other part. About like the whole Tupac and Jada piece. That Jada was one of the main characters of Menace to Society. And remember, Tupac was supposed to be the
he's supposed to be Kane.
No, he wasn't supposed to be Kane. He was supposed to be Kane's friend. He was supposed to be like the Muslim.
Yeah, the Muslim dude.
He got in a fight with the Hughes brothers. So I'm saying all that to say that they were around each other a little bit more than we might have.
They knew each other,
you know.
Yeah. They went to the same acting school together, and that's how they knew each other. But she made like he was. If you notice watching the movie, he never pushed up on her. You tell him he never tried to smash or nothing, because he wasn't interested in her really like that. But she'll make like they was about to get married or something. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. I think that she might have had a crush on him,
right?
And I think he probably saw her like friend zoned her, like that's little sis.
Especially once he got
and he probably Well, that, and he probably looked at her like, oh, she's like this. You know how poetic Tupac was. Oh, she's like this beautiful, delicate flower and stuff.
Hey,
So he
listen,
probably
bro.
saw her in that light and didn't really like
She
take
would
it
have
there
never
the
treated
way he
Tupac
would
the
have.
way she
Like,
treat Will Smith. I tell you that.
yeah, let's start with the fact that she just respects him more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's that. So if you respect somebody, you're not going to say certain things too. I mean, I don't want to get back in the whole Will and Jada stuff. The only thing I'm gonna say to your point on that is just that she said all that disrespectful stuff because she probably has something on him.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just got to take whatever she says now, like whatever she's seen him do or whatever, you know, this is like her low key get back.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is why I say, man, for the people out there that watch that movie, All Eyes on Me, please do not take that as that's Tupac. That's not who he was. The way that they did that was not, bro. When I bought Strictly for My Niggas album, which was his second album, I had his first album, which I loved already. I've been a fan of Tupac when he was an underground before he got a record deal, because this is something else that they don't do nowadays. A lot of the rappers that we look up to, you hear us talk about all the time, we remember them before they had a record deal, because the underground is always where the music is at. I'm talking about Tupac. Tupac had underground music before he came out. 50 Cent, oh my gosh. 50 Cent ran the underground mixtape scene for years before he finally dropped Get Rich or Die Trying. So we already knew who G-Unit was. We already knew who 50 Cent was before he even came out. And it's the same thing with Tupac. Like I said, as far as Tupac having Napoleon from Chancellor Avenue, the block that I hustled on, that I was on every day, we got all the new Tupac music before everybody. So you would see us, that's what started the bootlegging up, tell the truth. But you would see us with the new Tupac before it ever came out. A lot of this music that came out after he's passed, and you kept saying, dang, he keep dropping music. We've been heard that music. And you can ask anybody from my hood if that's not true, because in Napoleon, being an outlaw, we always got the new mix CDs first, and we would be in the hood bumping all that stuff. You feel what I'm saying? So this is what I was saying from the start of the show. It's a difference between underground music and industry music. The underground is where the real music is at. You know what I'm saying? This is where a lot of people start at. This is a lot of people get their acknowledgement first, and then they get signed by the industry. Nowadays, they just see you, they say you can rap, they put you out. We ain't never heard of you before in life. A lot of these rappers that's out right now I've never heard of in my life, and when I finally say, let me check them out, trash. Straight trash. You feel me? So just speaking about the fact of watching that movie, and it just so happened that Q, you brought that up, because I really already had it in my mind to talk about All Eyes on Me on here.
Yeah, no, salute, man. And you know, like I said, with Pac, he represents the highs and the lowest lows of the Black experience. You know, he's been a revolutionary, like you mentioned. His parents were very much so activists, and that was part of his experience. He was a theater kid, so you got to put that in there. He was a poet, street poet. You know, he did endear to the gangsters in the streets. He was around actual drug dealers. You know, he was around, you know, the musicians. He was around the fashion industry. That's when he started getting Versace'd out. Like, this is before the Migos. Tupac was Versace'd out. You know what I'm saying? They like, he was also like the first rapper that I can remember. Like, even, I think maybe LL Cool J was the only rapper I remember like walking around with their shirts off. I mean, you might have a different, maybe Melly Mel, but I didn't see Melly Mel with his shirt off till he really got buff, like as a grown man.
You rarely even seen him at all anyway. Like, you didn't see Melly Mel that much, especially back in the day. He wasn't big like that. You had the Lifers. The Lifers group, they never had no damn shirts on, shit like that, full force.
All right,
people like that.
Fair enough.
I'll tell you, I'm from the old school, man. When I talk about it, shit.
So that's why I wanted to defer to you on that one, because I'm like, yeah, I only really remember L like walking around with a shirt on before Pop.
Well, listen.
What I mean, shirt off.
Tresh did it too.
Okay, that's
Trax did
fair.
it too.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's
Naughty
fair.
by
That's
Nature, they
fair.
did it too. But it's just the fact
I
of,
just
like I
I
said,
mostly associate Tretch with the Dickie suits. You know what I'm saying? I just
yeah,
remember the
the
Dickie suits
jumpers,
and
the jumper with one
the
side
car
down.
the word and the Carhartt jackets and you know what I mean?
But it's just like, it's like I said, I know how the new generation, and I love the fact that it's 2025 and you see so many posts of young folks listening to Tupac. So they must be getting tired of this bullshit music that's out, and they listening to see what us old heads is talking about, and a lot of them is giving props to Tupac to say wow. But then you got some people that's just like, I don't see what the big deal is, and it's like, if you didn't grow up in that era, you probably won't see what the big deal is, because they accomplished what they was trying to accomplish. They wanted to shut him the fuck up. It didn't matter who did it or how it was done. They wanted Tupac to shut up, stop talking about the stuff he was talking about, because he was waking us up. I'm one of those people. Tupac woke me up when I was a young buck. Like, made me start looking at things different and not tolerating things and say, man, I'm a thug. If you call me a nigga, I really don't get mad, because I look at myself as that way. Because if you do something, if you press the right button, I'm gonna be ignorant. So I guess I am one. But Tupac taught me a lot of things, and for me to sit here and watch that movie and watch how they just glorified Biggie like he was some type of king of New York when he really wasn't. Like, I respect to Biggie, I got nothing but love for Biggie, but he's just like another rapper to me. He's just like Big L, he's just like Big Pun. He's just like a lot of other rappers that rapped and they not here no more. I think Heavy D was better than Biggie
Well,
Smalls.
his persona. Oh snap! That as a performer, I'm going to agree with that for sure. But I am going to say that, and this is, I don't know if this is the genius of Puff or just again how the industry is political, but there that whole Biggie Smalls kind of mafioso vibe was from an artist that was from like Alabama.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you know what I mean?
His name was Big something, right?
Know that.
It was Big.
I think he was Big E Smalls or something like that.
And when I seen that, I was like, wow, that like the whole Bad Boy.
And it was a heavy set, dark skinned black dude.
He looked like Biggie. Well, like I say though, man, far as when it comes to real hip hop, number one, Tupac, I'm always gonna defend Tupac, man. I don't care, because my whole thing about Tupac is he was defending us when he was alive. And that's why so many people still love Tupac. For him to not be here and people try to tarnish his name and do weird stuff with it, anybody that knew how Tupac was and knew what he was trying to do should always defend Tupac, bro. Because I can't say the same for Biggie. I'm sorry. Biggie never taught me nothing. He was just a lyricist to me. Like I said, I like Biggie as much as I like Big Pun, as much as I like Big L. You feel what I'm saying? But I can't put him up there in the category with Tupac, and I can't say, oh, he was the greatest. Like, no. They only did that because he was beefing with Tupac. There was an East Coast, West Coast beef going on at the time, and they didn't want to be able to say that the West Coast won, so therefore they made Biggie like the king of New York. You feel what I'm saying? But if he was still alive,
it's definitely media driven. I mean, I never really looked at them as the same kind of player anyway. It would almost be like trying to compare, Ja Morant to, Nikola Jokic or something. They don't play the same position. They don't play the same way. So I ain't looking for the same kind of pizzazz from Tupac that I would be looking for from Biggie.
Yeah.
As far as lyricism goes. Just in terms of like wordplay and all that. Like Big was dope with the wordplay and the punchlines, but Pac just made you feel the realness of what he was saying.
Mm-hmm. He did more than one kind of music too. Biggie really did the same music. It was bars, bars, bars. You know what I'm saying? But like Pac went from political to rapping about the women. And I'm gonna just say it like this: he went from rapping about the bitches, then he went to rapping about the women. If y'all understand what I mean by that. But he touched so many different areas of hip hop, and all of them that he touched went up. Just like we say Eminem is a great rapper, but he don't touch all areas of hip hop. That's why we can't make him the GOAT or make him the greatest of all time, because Eminem only really does one flavor. His songs don't always hit. His bars usually hit, but his songs don't usually hit. Tupac's bars, songs, cadence, everything always would hit. He didn't really make songs that never hit. You feel what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Even on the movie, they missed so much because they never really talked about Strictly for My Niggas, which is really when he first started getting in trouble because he was beefing with Dan Quayle, which was Vice President Dan Quayle. He had a fuck you on the back of the album cover, a long ass speech about Dan Quayle. So that's when his trouble started, really, but they didn't talk about that. You know what I'm saying? It's so many different things that they left out when it comes to Tupac. He's the greatest rapper out of everybody, and you left all of that stuff out of it. Like, why would you do that? Because it would have still, you know what I'm saying? That movie was made to make Tupac look like he was not a leader. That's basically what I see.
I get it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they made him like soft too. Even when Suge yelled at him and said, "Yo, who you talking to?" They put that in there, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. You feel me? Like, they put that in there, bro. It's just so many different, and it's not a coincidence that I watched both of them back to back. Like, once All Eyes on Me went off, Notorious was coming on back to back. I said, all right, fine, I watched that, and now we in the show and we talking about it. You feel what I'm saying? And like I said, I lived through both of them.
Yeah, I think as a movie, I appreciated Notorious a little more as a movie.
Better. It was definitely better than Tupac's movie, bro. It was definitely better, bro. And even the guy that played Tupac, they showed more scenes in Biggie's movie. As far as Tupac goes, like with him hanging out the car, beefing with Biggie. Why you didn't show that part? When he was spitting on the cameras and all that stuff, they never showed none of that. They never talked about it or said, why was he spitting at the cameras? It was just so many different things that Tupac did and said that would make the new generation say, okay, I see why everybody fuck with Tupac. They didn't put those scenes in there. They only put the trouble he got into. You go from one thing to the next thing. You feel me? Even, all right, put it like this. They show him with Quincy Jones' daughter, right? They showed that, right? Why they didn't show why they broke up. They didn't show that Quincy Jones made a pass at Tupac and tried to get Tupac to do some stuff.
I don't think anybody's going to show that. Like,
why
you know
not?
what I mean? Because it's a rumor for one, and who's going you're talking about like Dan Quayle, like kind of, or just the political aficionados manipulating things. You already know that Quincy's not going to let that fly. He was still alive when that movie came out. He's not going to let that fly.
That wasn't going to come out. You're right. A lot of stuff was Suge. A lot of stuff was Suge. They didn't say. So it's just so much stuff. And like I said, a person that grew up in it.
The implications are bigger than the music at that point. Yeah. And that's why certain things can, you know what I mean? Certain things can and can't be.
I feel like Suge need his own movie too, though. Puffy need his own movie and Suge need his own movie. And let's see how they're going to do with that.
Yeah, I at this juncture, I could see something happening for Suge before I see it for Puff. Puff needs to lay low right now.
Yeah, he's still writing his movie.
Yeah, but yeah, he needs to lay low for real.
He's still writing the ending of his movie.
Yeah.
A lot of these new rappers, it seems like they are going down, and they haven't really done nothing yet. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you might have, songs out, you might look like, but you ain't done what none of these other people have done. These people have dropped 5-6 albums and features and movies and all this stuff, and they still here, where y'all done dropped a few hot songs, not even timeless classics, but just hot songs, and y'all on your way out. From Lean and Molly's and whatever.
So I was going to touch on the drugs. So that's a big thing. That's one of the primary culprits. But then I'm gonna also say that you touched on it earlier, like, the codes that people follow and pass down aren't like that in hip hop, because I won't say like that in hip hop. I'll say in the rap industry, it's not like that, because you don't have people bridging the gap with sharing of information and how to survive in the industry and also how to survive in life. Right.
Reality versus society. That's a fact. You got reality and then you got society, man. Reality is how it's supposed to be. Society is how they want you to be. You feel what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know the difference. So I
Yeah,
can dig it.
absolutely.
I can dig it. So we're gonna take the show out like that, man. This is another fire show. I love doing these shows, Watch Time Live Show, my homie Commotion, utvstation. Shout outs to BCom Candles for coming and hanging out with us. Shout outs to my baby girl Star for hanging out with us. Shout outs to Queen the Warrior, much love to her for hanging out with us every time she come through. We catch you on the next show. Gotta support each other and everything we doing. Shout outs to TikTok and everybody that follows me on TikTok. If you in the chat room right now, follow somebody. We doing it up like that. Follow the big homie Commotion. And it's what it is. It is what it is to do what it do, man. Catch y'all next Sunday on the next episode. Watch Time Live Show. We doing it like that, man. We gonna take it out like that. Q, you got anything you want to say to the people?
Stay tuned to Watch Time Live. Make sure you hashtag Watch Time Live so you can get your TikToks played on the joint too.
Matter of fact, that's a fact right there. And like I said, y'all can go to ostylejfk.bandcamp.com, download some of this music, some of this merch. Just follow, man. Follow, share, subscribe. Go to YouTube to watch this full video, this full episode right here. And we're going to take it out like that.
The new age of hip hop. Let's go.